अद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्री राधाकृष्णपादान् सहगणललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च हे कृष्ण करुणा सिन्धो दीनबन्धो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिका कान्ता श्रीराधाकान्त नमोऽस्तु ते तप्त काञ्चन गौराङ्गी राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। नमः ॐ विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिन्निति नामिने नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे. Welcome everyone for the hearing session. So today we will be continuing with Radha Krishna Prabhu's lecture on respect.
Krishna 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 Krishna.
May I request everybody to mute their microphones, please?
So one of the things is, as a living entity, we are in a flickering position. We go through many difficulties. If you look, there's time problems, then you have different stress, crisis management, you take risks in life, anxiety, right? So many things you have to endeavor in this situation. But what is consistent for devotee? Krishna is the constant, no? So anything to do with Krishna is something that is constant. Yeah? If you don't have Krishna, then you are always in a tottering, flickering position. You're going through all this thing. But if you have stress for Krishna, worry for Krishna, time management, crisis for Krishna, everything is on a different platform altogether. Yeah? So things that are very consistent for most of us as devotees is chanting, right? All of us chant, right? Yeah? Then deity worship, what others? Harinam, maybe not so consistent. Yeah. Reading, right? Hearing, what else is consistent? Prasadam is the most consistent. Yeah. But, yeah. So here there's a nice verse. Rishikeshe Rishikhani Yashya Stairya Gathani Hi Saeva Dairyam Apnoti Samsare Jiva Chanchale. So the translation is, in this material world, all living entities are disturbed due to their flickering position. A devotee, however, is fixed in the service of the lotus feet of the Lord, the master of the senses. Such a person is to be considered situated in endurance and patience. It's a very interesting verse, no? You think about it. If you are not serving Krishna, then you are in a very disturbed situation. But if you take up devotional service, then in this verse, such a person is to be considered situated in endurance and patience. Dhairyam apnoti, attains the position of endurance. So that means you endure, you go through devotional service. It's difficult, I don't have the time, but I still want to serve Krishna. I go through difficulties for Krishna. I go through anxiety for Krishna. So that is considered to be endurance, patience and endurance. So it's important to make sure you are consistently and constantly doing something that is connected to Krishna. Whatever you do in your life, nirbandha, Krishna, sambandhe, just to make sure you connect with Krishna. Simple things also, right? Just like when you eat prasadam, you always offer, right? Right? When you taste, who are you? Are you the jiva or are you the tongue? Think about it. Yeah? You know what I'm trying to get at? Yeah, think about it. Who are you? Are you the tongue or are you the jiva? Are you the enjoyer? So if you are the enjoyer, then you're not connecting to Krishna. So mostly when we take prasadam, we say we honor prasadam. But do we honor prasadam? So my Guru Maharaj used to say that Srila Prabhupada, whenever he took prasadam, he would generally, if he takes, he doesn't want any distraction. And he's like very respectful with the prasadam. Patiently tasting everything. In Chaitanya Charitamrita, I think it's in the Madhya Lila also, the prasadam you're eating, it's actually, when you're tasting, it has been already been tasted by Krishna. So therefore when you're tasting his remnants. And that's why it's so wonderful. Have you ever experienced that? Yeah. That when you take prasadam, you give to your friends, and then they say, give me the recipe, and you give them the recipe, they come back and say, it didn't work. Have you experienced that? Yeah. You're not giving me all the ingredients. You're not telling me everything. You're thinking, if I tell you, you'll run away. Or you'll get crazy, you know. So it's important for us to know where am I situated also. Am I connecting with Krishna, or am I thinking, sometimes we think we are connected with Krishna, but our activities are not connected to Krishna. Right? Remember the beginning of this the session, we highlighted Haridas Thakur, where some people behave well, but they don't speak well. Some speak well, but they don't behave well. So we should always consider these things and see, in any situation, any time frame in your life, you should always ask yourself, who am I representing? So this will help you become very careful in the way you act. You will realize your presence, where am I? And so you will develop this patience for yourself. So yeah, attains the position of dhairya. Dhairyam apnoti. So he will continue to endeavor to please Krishna, please Srila Prabhupada, please the devotees. Now we're coming to how to develop patience. Okay. First thing is identify core issues that contribute to impatience. Ask yourself, what is it that giving you these difficulties? What is it irritating? Huh? One of the main thing that's been identified is irritability. And it creates stress. You can see that lady in front of the laptop, full of stress, anxiety, or sometimes even burnout. All this creates a lot of issues for us. When you go through these things, anxiety, burnout, and so on, you're not at your best. You're not. You can't be at your best because it's taking over your consciousness. It's making you feel taken away from that which you belong. And sometimes in psychological studies, these burnouts and all become chronic in our life. The way we lead our life become chronic. To become a more patient person, you first need to address these core issues that is holding you back. Yeah, write down. I often say, do your journal. When you journal, you identify your own issues. You don't have to tell anyone, and then you write it down. Later on, when you are more relaxed, you go through. Then you say, I have this issue, I have this issue, and then you circle, and then you can address it with like-minded person or people who are your well-wishers. Yeah, sit down and say, look, I have this problems and that's holding me back, holding me back from going on the altar, holding me back from going on Harinam, holding me back from preaching or from chanting 16 rounds. Yeah. So it's nice to know what is holding you back. It's a good tool. So remember the Goyam Akyate principle. So this, when you identify, then you look for those personalities who will be your well-wishers, who can help you. Truly well-wishers, not just a random person, eeny, meeny, miny, mo, yeah, you are the one. Yeah, you can't do that. It has to be true well-wisher. That means oftentimes you get together, you talk about how to develop your Krishna consciousness, right? Maybe in the beginning you may not want to do that, but think about all these things, because in the long run, in 10, 15 years, where would you like to be in your spiritual life? Yeah? Think about that. Or the next thing is to identify and address stresses that lead to impatience. Like that guy, little boy. I want my lunch. Mommy, daddy. Some of you have kids like that, right? So you're not at the best when your basic needs are not met. The Hertzberg's triangle, yeah? Malthusian, Hertzberg, all those things, yeah. That's what 40 years ago we studied in the college. So the basic needs, you must satisfy your basic needs. If you don't have your basic needs like a roof over your head, a place to stay, some shelter from the elements, and food, if it's not met, then you won't be very happy. So if you feel impatient, according to this psychological studies, you check 4 things. It's called HALT, H-A-L-T. Hunger. Are you hungry? Are you feeling hungry? No, I'm not. That's not what's causing me. But A stands for angry. Hungry and then angry. Hungry man is a hangry man. Yes, that's the saying like that. And then the L stands for lonely. Yeah, a lot of people are lonely. Even though you may be sitting here, you could be 1,000,000 miles away, lonely. And then the last one is, most people are tired after a nice lunch, prasad. Right? And so you cannot really, put your all into the session. Yeah. So if you come back from work, you feel tired and hungry, then what should you do? Huh? Yeah, honor prasadam. Then you don't feel that stress anymore. Yeah, take a shower. You won't feel stress. Water makes you feel refreshed. Yes. Yeah. So take shower. When you go out for a certain period of time, the best thing to do when you come, if you can't take shower, at least you wash your feet with cool water. Yeah, so it'll refresh you very nicely. Yeah, that's the whole culture in India. When you go out, you come back, they make you wash your feet before you come in. Yeah, cleanliness plus you feel good. Yeah, yeah. So it's not done for fun, There's a science behind it, behind everything. So when you address your stresses, then you feel more attuned to what needs to be done, and you become patient automatically. Otherwise, you're like a very uptight person. Okay. And then you reframe your thoughts. What I mean is, you may have negative thoughts, right? Negative thoughts will take you away from what needs to be done properly. So you need to reframe your thoughts. If you find yourself impatient, you may become frustrated with the idea that someone or even the universe is trying to ruin you. You'll think like that. No, they are out to get me. And so you realign your thoughts. Easier said, than done. Yeah, but if you practice often enough, these things will become second nature. So it'll be very good for you to think about that. And you can get a better perspective of what is good for you. And then once you understand the perspective, then you become patient. You say, okay, I don't have to worry so much. Right? Like if your flight is, you have to take a flight at maybe 4 o'clock, now is what time? 3:20, you are stressed and you cannot reach on time, right? What will you do? Yeah. So if you know what to do, you'll call the airline, you better cancel before a certain time, otherwise you won't get refunds and things like that, yeah. So you know the sequence, you feel patient, you feel relaxed, yeah. So therefore reframing your thoughts is very important. You may start to experience more patience when you reframe your thoughts. If you just stick to the same thing, sometimes people do the same thing hoping to get a different result. That is a definition of insanity. Yeah, so we are already insane in this world. All right, the next one is engage in self-care. Take care of yourself. Devotees, if you don't know how to take care, then make sure someone knows how to take care of you. Yeah, meaning you have a well-wisher who says, Prabhu, Mata, you're not taking rest. I see you're tired. Right? Go. No, but I have to do this. That's okay. I'll cover for you. Right? Your well-wishers must be like that. That gives you unity. And that increases loving exchanges. Otherwise, how are you going to build a community if you don't have that kind of foresight? Yeah? So make time for self-care. Like I was telling the youth, go for a hike. Yeah, get together, go for a hike, picnic. But of course, you do kirtans and talk about Krishna Katha, like that. Or do some creative things. Or we have Janmashtami in a few months. Let's do some nice decoration around the altar. There's so much space, so we can do something, come up with something imaginative, right? Yeah. So you're putting it to good use. And you feel contented because you have done something. And so your life becomes less stressful. And so you become patient automatically. Yeah. And yes, sleep, take rest, take some time off. After the Guru Maharaj leaves, everybody takes off. I remember when I first joined the movement, when Maharaj came and the whole temple was going round, and like the top was spinning and it was like festival. And then the very morning the Maharaj left, the temple was dead. Then I say, what happened? The devotee was going out, like I say, I'm taking a break. I say, where are you going? I'm going for 3 days out, yeah. Because they stressed themselves so much that they needed the break, yeah. But then you all have to ask yourself, do I need to really stress myself so much, or do we combine our energies together and balance it so that we don't feel like that? Yeah. Right? So one person shouldn't take all the burden, right? I'll pick the Guru Maharaj, I'll drive into my home, I will only cook, I'll wash, and then I'm dead. Yeah. And then all the other disciples are like, give me more, give me more. They want service. Yeah? So we should think about how to help everyone grow in Krishna consciousness. And as they grow, you find what we read in Chaitanya Charitamrita, the loving exchanges is real. It's tangible. You can feel it. It's palpable. Right? Otherwise, you're the only one. You think you're like in this society nowadays, I'm the lone man on the totem pole. I'm the highest one, and nobody can come close. Or the king of the hill, right? They play the game, nobody can come, you keep pushing people down. So we shouldn't do that. But when we do all these nice exchanges with one another, helping each other, taking proper care of one another, then you find you can develop nice patience.
We'll pause here for today. Any thoughts or reflections on what Radhakrishna Prabhu said today? Yes, Sulochana Mataji, please go ahead.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Yes.
Prabhu, I like that one point, like Prabhu in the starting, he mentioned like whatever we are doing, and that should be consistently and constantly connect to the Krishna. Otherwise, we will be always in the disturbed mode, in anxiety and all the other things. I like that point very much. Prabhu. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Anybody else? Sharbari Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhu. I like the thing that if we know that whom we are representing, then automatically that will give us an idea on how to conduct oneself and how to speak. So that I like very much. Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Thank you. Thank you. Anybody else would like to add something more?
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Yes, yes. Kumari Kamath, your voice has to be increased a little bit. If you can come closer. Or your volume button has to be increased or something like that. Mataji, I'm still not able to hear you.
Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Now it's loud and clear.
Yeah. So I like that acronym HALT. That that is what leads to my impatience most of the time. That is because all those things, maybe not hunger that I got a control upon, but tiredness, yes, not lonely but angry about something else. So that is coming out. Even though I'm trying to suppress the emotion of anger, it is coming out as impatience. Yes, that was very, very instructive for me, Prabhu. So
Thank you.
I find that hunger makes Dhruva very, very cranky and
All children.
impatient. Yes, I see in him that hunger can make him very, very cranky. It's very, very thoughtful lecture. It's applicable to all of us at all age.
Yes, Mataji. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you for so openly telling it. Rajeshwari Pran Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Dandavat Pranam. Everything, all the 5 points what Prabhu mentioned at different places is applicable. But just one thought when Prabhu was addressing on the second point, identify and address stress that leads to impatience. He mentioned that you're not at best when your basic needs are not met. So it reminded me of something of Guru Maharaj. So when I went recently for Kerala for treatment, first we went to a non-AC room thinking that no, why to waste money? A simple room with a fan, I thought like, no, I should be able to survive. The inspiration was, I read some Guru Maharaj pastime where Guru Maharaj came with Srila Prabhupada to Hyderabad, where this Pulla Reddy has offered the place. I mean, he was about to offer, and they thought they all came and they did kirtan and they stayed at Mr. Reddy's house. And of course, Srila Prabhupada stayed in that place, but not all the disciples. He showed some empty land where a lot of mosquitoes and where there is no basic needs like sleeping bed or like bathrooms and nothing was there. They all just used the open space. Guru Maharaj has returned that like he just poured some 2 buckets of water, used some trees for the nature's call to attend, and he quickly rushed to associate with Srila Prabhupada. So he was hankering so much for Srila Prabhupada's association. So, like for their level, whichever situation they are, they don't need that basic needs, and because the driving force is Srila Prabhupada's association. Whereas when I stayed in this Kerala in that room, because of so much humid, I couldn't resist myself, like, no, asking them, can you switch on the AC for, I mean, after 2 days. So then I realized it is not so easy. The authorities and the devotion what they have towards Srila Prabhupada, we cannot be imitated. Our needs are different and we have to address it. And then I was able to go with my sadhana and treatment properly after switching on the AC. So I was just thinking that, no, sometimes for some people, the basic needs are different. One have to evaluate on oneself, which is basic need for them. That's it, Prabhu. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Hare Krishna. Anybody else would like to add, please?
Prabhu, I've got a question. If
Yes, Mataji, please go ahead.
he talked about self-care, but when it is not practically, I am not able to devote so much to my self-care, and I know it is affecting my sadhana, it is affecting my temper, everything. But what if I'm unable to do it?
Well, what you are saying is actually, in one sense, the second step, unable to do it. most people, at least in India, don't even know what self-care is. And sometimes when they hear the word self-care, they take it to another level and it becomes actually selfishness. So they're not able to draw the line easily between self-care and selfishness, or the line between self-care and being isolated. That's a problem. So how would you say, Mataji, is what in your understanding or in your experience are elements of self-care?
Yes, sometimes I find it in myself a difficulty to say no.
Hmm. Hmm.
So whatever may be the demands or request, it is very difficult for me to say no to them. But then I get exhausted and I do feel impatient. Why don't they understand that I am aging, I'm old, I can't do so much? But it is my own defect, care of my needs properly. That's how he put it very nicely. That if you don't have enough sleep, or if you don't take some time out for your needs, then it is foolishness. So
Yeah.
how to say no politely, that is what I have to learn. That's what I have analyzed.
Okay. Yeah. Behind this saying no, actually there is something else. Some children are called as a gifted child. And this word gifted is actually an euphemism or another word or a well said word for actually what's called a sensitive. Some people are very sensitive. And if you go back in time and look at how certain children or even adults become sensitive, it so happens that either when there is a lot happening in the family, that one like say for example, the dynamics between the parents is not fine, or the family is in a state of poverty, or sometimes in India especially, there in the family there is a boy child and a girl child, and the boy child is given preference over the girl child. All of this makes the other person very sensitive, in the sense they begin to understand others' feelings also. Those who do not come from this background, they are happy with their own mind. They don't have to think to go through others' minds. But these kind of children, when they are in these circumstances, they feel it, and without the other person speaking anything, they become they get to understand the feelings of others. This is one kind of sensitiveness. The other is a gifted child. The other kind of gifted child, I'm sorry, is somebody who studies well or performs something good here, etc. That good in art, craft, or anything like that. Um, they become victims of their own success. And when they become victim of their own success, that happens is once they become successful, success becomes like an addiction. They keep chasing success, and they become so full of themselves that after some time they realize nobody is paying attention to me. Why do I am doing such a great thing, but nobody is even looking at me? Because most people in this world just want something for themselves. And so this also makes them, in one sense, sensitive to the feelings of others. They get to know what others think, how others behave, etc. All that happens. Especially this latter one, those who run behind success. It so happens that they run behind wanting to get approval from others, wanting to get recognition from others. They move on in life like that. And in the pursuit of this, these are the ones who typically cannot say no, because they want a constant sense of accomplishment. The happy-go-lucky person doesn't want a constant sense of accomplishment. But this person who, right from childhood, or maybe sometime in teenage onwards, they see that they taste success, they run behind it like anything. So sometimes you may need to identify that pattern, that I am looking not for actually accomplishment, but actually a sense of belonging. Sometimes it may happen there. We look for attachment. So a child, when it is made to choose between what is right and how the child can be attached to its parents, the child will choose attachment to parents. And likewise, as we grow up, we look forward to a sense of belongingness. And that's, in some cases, if not all, the root cause of that, irrespective of whether my body is tired or not, whether I can do it or not, we cannot say no. That's on one side of it. The other side of it is, if I don't do it, who else will do it? Now, the thing here is, if you look at some of the greatest saints, like Sanatan Goswami and others, they are all from the spiritual world, or even say Adi Shankaracharya, or others too. They, in one sense, gave up their life just to do something great. So there is that other end also, which is, what is the use of living 100 years or 1,000 years? Aren't we just living like trees? Aren't we just breathing? Better to live a short life and do something of impact. Steve Jobs, for that matter. That's one kind of a thing. So one can be this kind of a person where one wants to create impact if one is not frustrated. And that's where this whole series of Radha Krishna Prabhu is coming, where in order to progress in devotional life, we need two things, two major things. One is attachment to Krishna through the various processes of devotional service. And second is Maryada, a proper behavior to devotees. If in our pursuit of attachment to Krishna, if you're lacking Maryada, it's a problem. And the lacking Maryada, some things like lacking patience, often has something much more deep rooted. So we need to be balanced, and we need to look for, like what you were saying here, saying no, that communicating that I need to function better, I need some off time. And it is okay sometimes to say, maybe can you find help from, can you find somebody else? That is one way. But often much younger, at your age, that is perfectly fine. But at much younger age, some people would say, well, I want to take more rest. So they don't push themselves so hard. And it is also important to push oneself hard. How to find the right balance? I would say go with Radha Krishna Prabhu's suggestion. At least have a friend who can think through it and say, are you going in this extreme or that extreme, or in somewhere in between, or some give and take? It is usually when we are pushed to the extremes that the greatest learning happens. And it is also when we are pushed to the extreme that apathy also starts. That what is the purpose of doing all of this? Anyway, I'm doing all of this, nothing happens. And when something which happens in some devotees' life is that they do not have sufficient sleep and try to wake up at a particular time, sleep less, and then they don't like chanting as such. So maybe a long-winded answer, but I'm not sure if you got an answer, Mataji. Any further comments on this, Mataji? Anything that you maybe you definitely have experience? You can add something more. Kumarika Mataji, I'm not able to hear you. Your microphone is yes.
Idiot. Change this.
Mataji, you want to say something? No. Okay, no problem.
Yes, Prabhu. I hope you are able to hear now.
Now I'm able to hear you. Yeah.
Actually, Prabhu, it is really a problem for me. This sort of impatience arising out of exhaustion. Sometimes I'm not saying no. As you said, who else will do it? That is also the problem. If I don't do it, then who else is there to do it? So that sort of a situation is also there. So and I maybe I'm not doing it right. I have to rethink and make ways of really taking some self-care, because that is affecting my sadhana. Means I don't want to be a
I
little
mean,
foolish.
one basic thing, especially because a good number of the folks here are older than 40. Something that we all do not realize is that as we grow older, in order to keep us healthy, active, we need to give due exercise to our muscles. Some people do something called activity like walking, but that's not sufficient. To have the strength as we age and to have that strength gracefully, we need to exercise muscles. That basic body care, I wouldn't call it, I mean, it's a subset of self-care, is also important, which will help us later in life. And the real problem is this, which is we don't find time for all of this. Why? Because we are busy in doing so many other things, or we are busy in being distracted. To drive our will to invest in ourselves for the future is one of the aspects of self-care, which means I have to let go of the greed to accomplish something today. Maybe I can earn more money. Maybe I can spend more time with children. Maybe I can enjoy by roaming around the country to different places. But maybe I have to set aside that and do certain things in a fixed way. These are all self-care. And reading scriptures is also one part of that self-care. We set aside that part. And then we get to know at a much later age, oh, actually, I'm not ready for it. My body is aching, my mind is distracted, all of that happens. So we need to put that level of self-care too, so that we are ready, raring to go for the future. I'll pause here, Mataji, 7:15. Devotees have to go to other things. Okay, we'll continue again tomorrow. Thank you very much. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.